My baby does a hanky-panky. 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 So far I've only sung 6 words. I saw her walking on down the line. You know I saw her for the very first time. A pretty little girl standing all alone. Hey pretty baby, can I take you home? I never saw her, really never saw her. That's right. My baby does a hanky-panky. 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 That's it. That's $4 every time I sing.
That's a classic. Your book is called Me, the Mob, and the Music.
Yes, sir.
Are they going to make a movie out of it?
They are. It's going to be a film. We are just so flattered and honored that our book, Me, the Mob, and the Music, which basically is a story about our very crazy and tumultuous relationship with Roulette Records. By the way, the reason it was scary and tumultuous is because Roulette Records, the label we had the bulk of our hits on, was not only a functioning independent label and a pretty good one, but it was also a front for the Genovese crime family in New York, which made life really interesting for us. And so I never had a chance to spew, as it were. So it was very therapeutic for me to write this book with Martin Fitzpatrick, by the way, who was my co-author on this book. And he's here tonight. He's also our tour manager. So can we hear it for Martin Fitzpatrick? There he is. There he is. Just get out here. So at any rate, yes, they're making a film out of it, and we are so flattered and honored. Barbara DeFina, who is going to be the producer, is a very dear lady who has had so many other movies. She's had Casino and Goodfellas and Hugo with Martin Scorsese and The Color of Money and The Last Temptation of Christ, and I'm leaving a bunch of them out, but I mean, she's just amazing. She's about this tall, about 5 feet tall. You don't ever want to play poker with her. She is really amazing, and she makes these incredible movies, mob movies, and these tough guys, you know what I'm talking about. And so I just am in awe of her. And Matthew Stone did the screenplay, and he really did a terrific job on that. And it's, by the way, I'm getting an amazing education just watching all this come together, because I've never done a movie before. And I'm going to be involved in the production and the music, but I've never done this before. And to watch all these people come together, everyone that's involved in the movie is a separate negotiation and a star in their own right, you know, and got a schedule and an ego and everything else. So watching this happen in front of me is really an amazing thing to see.
So who's going to play Tommy James?
Wow, I am the worst one to ask, because, you know, I'd say Walter Brennan. Well, hey, you know, what it really boils down to is there are so many great new actors, but everyone that I suggest, by the way, Morris Levy, the head of Roulette Records, is another one who's interesting to cast. Actually, he and I are the two, you know, main people in the story. And so every time I come up with an idea, though, it usually gets, booed because I want some unknown actor who's really good, and they want someone who's bankable. So I have no ideas. It's a very long way to get to saying I don't know.
Okay. How many times were you on the Ed Sullivan Show, Tom?
We did 3 times.
Did he get your name right or not really?
He brought a week before. This is a true story. We had just finished a tour with the Beach Boys across Canada. We ended up in LA, and it's the week before I am supposed to do the first Sullivan Show, and I'm scared to death because it's live television, and it's, you screw up your career's over. And so we're sitting there in the hotel room, and there's a couple of the Beach Boys there, and they had done the show 106 times, so they rolled hands. And so I'm trying to pretend that I'm cool, And he said, next week, right here in our stage, the youngsters, Tony Jones and the Spondells. So it went downhill from there. And so I'm, Engelbert Humperdinck, he has no problem with it. James, he can't pronounce it. So, at any rate, the next week was miserable. I mean, we had to go, we went through the entire week, It was the best produced show on television, it really was. And Bob Precht, who was the producer of the show, was his son-in-law, was a great guy, but these people were scary because they had the biggest show in the world. So we started out, and of course you got to wear the same clothes all week long because of the colors and everything, so your makeup is in your boots by the time you actually do the show. And so the night of the show, I didn't know what to expect. The one thing I did is I forgot I had to talk to Ed after because we were headlining the show, so we had to talk to Ed, and I completely spaced on that. And at the end of the show, he said, "Now, Tommy, my boy, come on over here." So I
sound just like it.
So I go over, and I very timid because I hadn't thought a thing about it. He says, "Now I understand you were born and raised in New York City." So the first thing I got to say to Ed Sullivan in front of 140 million people is no, I can't. So I thought real quick, and time just slowed down, and I said, well, actually, I live about a block and a half away from your studios here, right over here at 52nd and 8th, and I've lived here for 3 years. I gave him every excuse to why he would be confused about that, and to climb out of that tree, he'd have none of it. And once again, born and raised in New York City. So that was my first Ed Sullivan show.
This is 103.7 NNJ. We're talking to Tommy James. You were one of the first rock and rollers to go out on a political campaign, right?
Yep.
Did you open up rallies for Hubert Humphrey?
Yes, that was us.
How did you get connected to Hubert Humphrey?
Well, we had been asked to do